Well, joining me now to discuss this is gender advocate Folasha Olabanjoba. Thank you very much for joining us at this point.
Thank you. Good morning.
So watching that report, I noticed you were nodding in affirmation at some point and nodding the other way. What came to mind as you watched that report?
Wow, mixed emotions, but definitely it grieves my spirit that anyone, I don't want to say it's only women that goes through the abuse, but that anybody should have to go through that. And on a special day like today, it's sober reflections. We're where we are, but it needs to be eliminated. It's not needed. Silence hides a lot of violence.
Yeah.
And over the years, if what has transpired, too many lives have been lost. Okay, so today you've got the Elimination Against Violence Day, and it's like a campaign to say that it is no longer acceptable. We've got the laws and all that protecting people and all that, but still sometimes the stereotyping, the victimization and all that, it kind of limits the exposure to the victims, like maybe the person being traumatized or something, you know. But the action plan is advocate, fund, where need be, quickly, you know, take charge and help the victims, stand with them, don't condemn, show more love and empathy. And nobody needs to go through that. But, you know, with COVID-19, I think the numbers went really, way up. So you've got what you call like a shadow pandemic going on.
That's what the United Nations call it, the shadow pandemic.
Yeah, and it's the truth. But it's still a situation that all of us, it's not one person. I mean, wherever it is reported, we should quickly stand up and stand with the victim and give help quickly as much as we can. Because it's way beyond just that, you know, that maybe immediate act or something, you know, because...
You're talking about giving support when we see in this nation, if a woman or a girl child reports any case of violence against the gender, it's family influence drops the case. How much of an issue is this bringing up? Because, like you had said earlier, the culture of silence.
Yes. I think that's our baggage. A lot of us in this part of the world, you're meant to keep quiet. As a girl, well, I can talk for the younger girls, but it goes not just young girls, you know, people just don't take no for no when, you know, in the case of abuse. And so, but they don't take you serious most times, like, come on, there's so many other things, you know, deal with that, keep quiet, let the person go. And sometimes the families will even tell you you should be ashamed for you to even...
So that's stigma.
Yes, yes. And so raising the voices now and talking out and letting them know that they've got the support, everybody behind that. I think it kind of a warning sign as well to the perpetrators that they can't get away with it.
Okay, I have here available statistics from the United Nations shows that the Southwest has about 296 reported cases of gender-based violence, followed by the North Central with 156 reported cases. The Northeast has 115 reported cases, the Southeast 92, Northwest 87, the South-South has 35, and this statistic is for April 2020. Now, that was in the heat of the lockdown and COVID-19 pandemic. Beyond COVID-19 and beyond everything we know, how can security agents be trained in ensuring that when these cases are reported, it is handled immediately?
Well, maybe that's one good thing about Lagos State. I like to say that Lagos State leads, other states follow. because most times at the police stations, you've got the gender desk, okay? And they're meant to quickly take charge and assist the victims. You counsel, know the kind of needs that it's, and sometimes even if the case has to go to court, the victims are being, counseled on right way, and sometimes if they need shelter or assistance and all, and sometimes you have dependents as well, okay? And so it's really sad, and that's why you saw me.
Yeah. So where does this put us on the map now? In the international community, how do you think we are viewed in this country?
Well, I like to say that at least we're talking, at least we're taking action.
Are we actually talking? Are we
Yes,
actually taking action with what
we're
we've
not
seen?
where we need to be, but we're not where we used to be either. Okay. And you're talking about those numbers. I'm sure the numbers are more than that.
Those are the April statistics.
No, the ones that are reported.
Cases,
a lot are not even reported. Okay, so it's a good thing that at least we're getting the data in now. We tend to be able to know which areas have more than the other, why, so that's where the culture and beliefs and all that comes into play. But any which way, it's not tolerable. It's not accepted.
And how do you address the mindsets that women are supposed to be inferior to men, hence the promotion of GBV?
Well, like I said, I think it's, for me, foundational. The home set, okay? Raising the boy, the girl child to understand that, we're both equal, yes, and then not one is more superior than the other, but the acceptability also, because some of us were raised to just labor for our siblings because we were guests. And I could remember my brother would wake me up, fix me this, clean the house, do this, and I would do that and still have to do my homework. And he'll cross his leg there. So that's it, is a mindset. But as a mother now, my boys, I tell them, no, it's not just your sister. You also have to, because you're going to be a father, you're going to also one day be somebody's employer of labor. You must be sensitive to, the gender needs. Whether you're male or female does not make you less of a person. So that is where the equal opportunity comes in. People tend to mix it up and talk about, feminism and all that. It's all interrelated. But what we are for me, it's equal opportunity. Thinking that at least the females, they've been put behind, for a long time. All
right, so the United Nations is saying that 30% of girls and women aged between 15 and 49 are reported to have experienced sexual abuse. 43% of these girls married before the age of 18. 18, yeah, while 20% of women aged between 15 to 49 have undergone female genital mutilation. How will this kind of behaviors affect communities?
That goes back to the cultural baggage, because in some communities, it's a must-do, okay? And not thinking of the long-term effect on the girls, okay? And for the genital mutilation, the health consequences in later years for the girls, it's really sad.
Tell us about the long-term effects.
Wow. I'm trying to be cautious on the words now, but childbearing, okay, it affects the way that their body responds to so many things. And also, even having pleasure in marriage and all that, it's also limits, okay? So there's this tendency that the girl sometimes feels that she's less of a woman. Psychological effects as well, okay? Because you don't talk out, but it can also affect the mental capability of the girl. So, but more importantly is the health risk that's involved, because even the infection and all that initial, when it's being done, it's unnecessary endangerment to, life to the girl.
All right, now the president has established a national tool for gender-based violence data, and it's set to accommodate wider reporting of cases beyond the COVID-19 period. Will this help in aiding reports, getting reports of these cases?
Well, the job of any good government is to improve the quality of lives, okay, of the citizenship. And so that the president is interested in this, for me, is a good one. Okay. And that, all hands must be put together to making sure that no one is left behind, okay? Allowing a woman to flourish at her full potentials without fear or exposure to abuse or threat to her life or whatever. Okay, so putting the support system is like, the structure is there. We've got you. Take advantage of it. And I think it helps the victims as well.
When taking advantage of it, what about the people that will help deploy this? Are they trained enough to understand the needs and the importance of GBV?
Well, obviously, round pegs and round holes. You don't just put any officer in those type of desk or whatever. They are specially trained, and even where the training is not enough, you've got support system along the way, because even it's not only a police officer that will help somebody that's abused. You still would have to have some backup, like the social worker, the counselor and all that, to also push it along. So you've got people that are actually trained in those fields that are taking care of the victims.
But the question will be how there might be trust issues because of where we have been and where we are coming from.
Well, like I said, even twerking is breaking that. Yeah. Okay, most times you were meant to just shut up and silence, and you go to God with it. But that you can talk now means that you offload and unburden that of your chest, and especially when you talk to the right kind of people, you don't feel limited or like we talked about, the stigmatization, and you learn to now grow beyond it, move on, and actually even do better, really, most times, because once you unburden that, you are like a...
Does anyone ever unburden such reality?
Yes. Yes, that is really the job of a good counselor in those kind of situations, because you must be able to get it off the victim's mind to where it doesn't affect them mentally, or and that way they can flourish. Because it was really bad when they couldn't talk about. Some people have even been suicidal. They've gone, the mental health and all that. So it was really bad. But I think with the kind of help and all that's out there, I think it's gotten a lot better. Even though the rates increased, that is because of the external factors and all that.
What are the external factors?
Well, when you talk about COVID-19, people are under lockdown. They can't go out.
Because these cases have been there even before COVID-19.
Yes, but COVID-19, obviously, I would want to say worsened it. Because then you could go to work, at least you are not in the house, or you are... Most times it happens also at your point of trust. It's normally the people that you trust most, your trust zones, that it happens most. So, but where you can go far away from all those, so you are stuck in that environment. And also the mental health of a lot of people is, when they're going through trauma, they tend to also take it out on immediate people around them. That's why I said no excuses. Violence is violence. It is not acceptable, and it shouldn't be encouraged at all.
Okay, so in all of this, what will be your recommendation to governments on how Nigeria can handle this and bring it to the barest minimum?
Well, number one, support, funds, like to the frontline workers and all that are actually helping out to bridge the gap so the numbers go down. The advocacy also, sensitizing the women, what to look out for, trying to, like sometimes we would go to communities and actually teach the parents what to look out for on a child. Like most times if you see a girl just keeping to herself, feeling all rejected, you need to talk, communicate. You should be your child's best friend to where, if anything, they can quickly relate. So, but most times the funding, because even when the families go to the police station or report and all that, some of them don't even have money to transport to even go and follow up and all. Yeah. So then when it actually happens, take them away, maybe from that point where they're being abused, and try and just support to where they can actually be on their feet again. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, anti-rape advocate Antonia. Gender advocate Folashade Olabanjo. Thank you so much for talking.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.